Wow,
First off,
somebody's having fun next door. Did you hear that? It's a big cheer.
maybe they can hear you from there.
Yeah.
So first off, love your performance.
Thank you.
Don't mean to criticize that at all with this question.
Here we go. But
Well, I guess I want to make sure it comes off right. So early on, you have these scenes where you're set off as sort of the baseline for the most cruel, heartless, emotionless, bitchiest V there is.
yeah.
So in that first season, before you have your post-egg breaking breakdown thing, you actually show a lot of emotion. I mean, you're always turning away from the people you just duped and showing them this insidious little smirk or something. Talk about that.
Thank you. Yes, I will. And I appreciate the question. It was not a criticism. It's a really hard thing to do, to balance no emotion, but let you guys know what's going on and be able to tell a story. So obviously, I have to feel emotion. I mean, it's impossible. Otherwise, I would be like this. And that's really boring to watch. So it's sort of like you get told that I don't feel emotion, so you know that part, and then I do a little bit here and there, and the story gets told. I agree with you about that little smile, actually, and it's been a point of contention on set quite a few times with me, where I know people like it, and I know people like to see it because it lets them know what I'm thinking and what's going on. And every director that comes on V tells me to do that because they saw it once, and they want it every time. And what I say to them is, you realize you're making me feel emotion. I mean, just so you know. And maybe that's a choice that we're making, and maybe we're going to find out that Anna feels actually a lot of emotion and has been hiding this whole time. So maybe that'll be a big plot reveal. I don't know. But I'm with you. I get it. And I argue with them all the time about it, and they win. And I do takes where I don't do it, and I do takes where I do it, and they use the ones that they like best. What can you do?
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
I love you in Firefly, and I love you in V, and that says a lot because my dad used to scare the crap out of me as a kid by pretending to be a lizard and talking about me.
Oh, God. How did he pretend to be a lizard? I just want to know.
He would, God, this is embarrassing. I was a little kid, and he would open my door, and he would go, and would make like lizard faces.
That's terrible.
I mean, now it's really funny.
But not at the time.
No, but like we'll watch it and he'll like call me, and now we have this like sci-fi dorky bond over it. So it's kind of worked out the best, but I still give him grief about it.
That's funny.
Now you know, and excellent. But really, what I wanted to ask, just I guess out of curiosity, is I'm glad you're acting. Clearly, it's worked out. But if you have any other interest, like if you could pursue a second career, what would it be?
I think it would be something like astronomy. Something like that, totally different. There's like such a sense of relief in thinking of a career that doesn't involve being in front of a camera or being this, like, the center of attention, or like obviously I'm an actor, I love it, whatever, but there is a fantasy of like the relief of not having that or not having to think about that. So I think it would be something like photography, or I love astronomy, and as a kid I would always, I was a dork. I was like, looking at books of stars and loved, like, telescopes were like my favorite thing in the world, and eclipses, and and I love the fantasy of being an archaeologist and like digging up sites. That sounds so cool and romantic, and like you got your little brush and you're finding new like prehistoric artifacts. But I guess I can play all those things on TV.
Good morning. It's just something someone said sparked this question for me, but if there was some actor, actress that you could work with, that you would just give your right arm to do anything with, who would that be and why?
There's a few. I am a huge fan of Meryl Streep, of course, like everybody else. She's not of this world. She is an alien, actually. It's not possible for anybody to be that good. And I got to work with her in a play. I got to understudy Natalie Portman in A Seagull, and she was Arkadina. I was in Central Park ages ago, and I got to watch her work, and that was, to me, the most phenomenal experience I've ever had in my life. But to be on stage with her every night or in a movie would be unbelievable.
I think your hair is gorgeous on you.
Thank you.
Not very many women can wear their hair so short, but you're very beautiful.
Thanks.
You've got such a unique image, and you're so easily recognizable.
Yeah.
You know, with V's success and your look. How does that translate when you're out and about and people walk up to you? What kind of feelings do you get from that?
You know, it's a very high-class problem, first of all. Not many people can say they have that problem. At first, it was really, really exciting. Like, wow, for the first time. Like, people would recognize me from Firefly every once in a while, but I did look very different from then. It's a long time ago. But with V, it's very clear, even from behind. Somebody knows who I am immediately. And it was really cool and exciting. And then there was a period where, like, in New York especially, it got to be a little much because it's hot, it's the summertime, you're in a crowded subway with hundreds of other people, and your face is this close to somebody else's face, and they decide they want to say something to you, and then they can't walk away. And you're just like... And usually, what they decide to say is, "You look a lot like that girl from V." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me." They're like... Like there was no plan B, you know? If you're gonna say something, have a course of action. You know, whether it's I hate that show, or I love that show, or good for you, or all right, and then like go on your merry way. But don't hang out and not know what to say. But it was, you know, again, high-class problem. I got over it. It was one of the reasons why I bleached my hair blonde this summer. I was like, I want to be a little different. But I do, most people are so nice, and it is like the nicest thing in the world to have people see you and say, I know your show, I love your show, great job. And it's so exciting as an actor to get that recognition and that appreciation. And actually one of the coolest things that ever happened to me was I went to Brazil in May to promote the show, and it was the first time I'm from Brazil, being back home since the show aired there, and people were walking down the street and stopping me and saying, I had no idea you were Brazilian, and I am so proud of you, and I feel so lucky that you're out there in Hollywood giving us a good name. And I cried, like every time somebody said that to me, there were tears in my eyes. I thought that was the nicest way to say it possible. It was so cool.